2015, an elite DFS Army Commando unit formed to bring high-level DFS strategy to the masses. Today, hated by DFS sharks and lineup sellers alike, they continue their quest to turn dope into DFS pros.
Good morning, everybody. This is your daily fantasy puck drop presented by the DFS Army. I'm your host today, MDelagnis14. By myself today as Flynn's watching the Super Bowl. This is being recorded during the Super Bowl, but I had some time to get this out in a nice small 4-game slate. So we got Vancouver at Philly, Kings at the Rangers, Anaheim at Toronto, and Arizona at Dallas. Definitely a small slate today, so you want to keep it more towards tournaments and small man leagues, 10, 15-man leagues, 100 if you need. We have one goalie confirmed right now for Philly and Carter Hart. Everyone else is still projected, and you'll have to monitor the situations throughout the day with any line changes and goalie confirms. I'm going to start right off with goalies, move on to centers, wings, and round out with defenses, and then some stacks I like. Since it is such a small slate today, keep your bankroll low, save up for Tuesday's bigger slate, kind of have fun with it, get a little creative, go against the chalk. So I'll start here with goalies. The first guy I'm looking at, again, these guys are all projected, except for Carter Hart. Ben Bishop right at the top, 8,700. Coming at home, we know he plays much better at home. His last 4 starts have been at home, and he's 3-2. Most he's given up was 3 goals. His last 2 games, he has been outstanding. The matchup with Arizona is pretty good. They're shooting about 31 shots per game, scoring about 3 goals a game. Nothing too crazy, but we do like Bishop at home, so if you are going to play cash games, start your cash lineups with Ben Bishop and watch him score 20-plus points, even in a little tougher matchup against Arizona. Next up, I'm just going to go straight down the salary rankings here, and I do have a lot of interest in Carter Hart. He's been absolutely phenomenal for the Flyers. He's at home. He's against Vancouver, who they ranked 27th in the league shooting, just 28 shots per game. Right now, in the last 10, they're up a little bit to 30, but they're still not scoring all that much. Carter Hart has been the better Flyers goalie of late, even allowing 4 goals last game against Edmonton. He still scored 28 FanDuel points in his last 5 games. Got 28, 22, 32, 30, 31, 23. The young kid's been consistent, and if he keeps playing this well, he's going to keep getting the opportunities. And the goal for the Flyers, being at home with a day's rest, he should be all set to go. And since they confirmed him so early, they're really confident in the youngster. On the other side of that game, tournament only, 8,300, Jacob Markstrom. Have a little bit of interest in him. He's been kind of shaky lately. His last game against Colorado was very good, but the game before that he was horrible against Carolina. Definitely more towards larger field tournaments, as Philly has been scoring a lot, and they're 8-2 in their last 10 games. But Markstrom can pop off for a 40-point game, even a 30-point game, as long as he can get the win. Moving on to Darcy Kemper, 7,700. He's been very consistent, around 13 to 20 plus FanDuel points. The matchup against Dallas is great. They're not scoring at all. They're shooting about 30 per game. Arizona is allowing 28 shots only. The upside may not be there as much for Kemper, but he's really cheap, and he definitely has some upside, as Dallas just isn't scoring If you want to take a shot at Garrett Sparks right now, he's projected for Toronto 7,300 against Anaheim. I don't see much upside as Anaheim isn't shooting much, only 25 shots in their last 10 games, not even scoring 2 goals a game. If Frederik Andersen does start for Toronto, then he's your plug-and-play cash goalie between him and Ben Bishop, 50-50 in your cash games. Tournaments, you can use them, but you could go down to, like I said, Carter Hart, Jacob Markstrom. If you want to throw some Henrik Lundqvist in there, he's been pretty good lately, 2 or 3 goals in the last 5 games. The Kings aren't scoring much, shooting about 28 per game. He is at home, so we like to pick goalies at home. And he has 30-point upside, so I don't mind taking a shot at Lundqvist if you want. That's it for goalies for me, so put him Bishop, Anderson at the top tier, cash games. Carter Hart's a great tournament play. Jacob Markstrom, larger field tournaments. Henrik Lundqvist, larger field tournaments. Darcy Kemper, you can use in most tournaments, but I don't see the upside that much for him if Dallas doesn't shoot that much. And then Garrett Sparks, if he does start, he's a fantastic tournament option as well. Like I said, we'll start right on centers. Right at the top, 8,100, Austin Matthews. I'll likely be starting my lineups with him. I normally haven't been using him in cash games. He's shown a solid floor lately. 4 shots last game, 3 shots, 5, 3. He's been scoring. He's got a goal in each of his last 3 games. John Gibson and the Ducks have been horrible, allowing 3.9 goals per game in their last 10 games. It's actually the most on the slate. Toronto's going to be super chalky. You can use Matthews. You can even use Matthews and Tavares as a double center. I'm going to keep Tavares more in tournaments. His shots have been kind of down lately, and he's very hit or miss, so I definitely would prefer Matthews if you're playing cash games. Going down a little bit, Tyler Seguin, 7,800. Not huge on this game, but if you're going to use someone from Dallas, Seguin, you can pair him up with Alexander Radulov on the wing to get some of that Dallas exposure in the later game. That's an hour and a half after the first 3 games. Moving down, 7,200. Philly's starting to heat up a bit. You can use Clyde Giroux, 37.5 FanDuel points in his last game, 5 shots, 3 shots in the game before that. He's kind of a hot and cold player. Since he's 7,200, I'll stack him with his line, and that's probably it. Moving down, Mika Zibanejad. Probably said that name very wrong. Don't got my buddy Flynn to correct me here today, but he's been very consistent. He gets Matt Zuccarello back on the wing with him, and they really have that chemistry going. Against the Kings, it's a great matchup with Jonathan Quick, and they're at home in his last 5 games. 16 shots and blocks, 6 goals, and 3 assists with 3 power play goals as well. If you want to go on the other side of the game, Anis Kopitar, he has been heating up in his last 4 games. The shots are very inconsistent. If you want to throw in a low-owned king stack, you can use Kopitar as your center there. Don't love it, but he does have a goal and an assist in each of his last 2 games. Sean Couturier, he's been the more consistent center for the Flyers lately. His shots still aren't that high, but he's getting assists, blocks, and goals. Decent matchup against Vancouver at home. Not too high on Vancouver today, but if you want to use Elias Pettersson, don't have any problem with that, but I'm only going to use him in tournaments as his floor is about 0. And he's got a really high ceiling, but you really need him to shoot more in games like that. Bo Horvat, he's a juggernaut for Vancouver. Shoots, blocks, gets a lot of assists, scores a few goals. 5,700, solid price for him. I prefer him over Pettersson, especially for the $600 difference. Not too much more I'm looking at in the center. If you want to take a shot at one of the min-price guys in a stack in a tournament, I have no issues with that, especially on this weird slate. Nick Cousins has 12 shots in his last 3 games for Arizona. Don't like the matchup against Dallas, but 3,200, take a shot at it in tournaments. Just going to move right on to wings. Small slate. I'm going to make this very quick for you guys. Mitch Marner. I do have some interest in him. 8,400 is a little much. His production isn't too high. He hasn't hit 20 FanDuel points in any of his last 6 games. The last time he did was January 10th at New Jersey, and other than that, he's been under 20 almost consistently with a couple blowout games here and there. Jacob Voracek, 6,700 for Philadelphia. Keep mentioning Philadelphia guys. They're playing amazing right now, and they're going to want to play hard in front of the 20-year-old Hart and net. Like I said, they're 8-2 in their last 10 games. Voracek has 3 assists last game, 2 before that, 1 before that. He had 6 shots on goal last game against Edmonton, and Vancouver allows almost 32 shots against per game. Definitely can take a shot at Voracek, 6,700. Just below him, Chris Kreider for the Rangers. If you want to stack him up with his 2 line mates, Mika Zibanejad and Matt Zuccarello, definitely love that play. He's more the assist guy. He doesn't shoot a whole lot, and I'd only use him in stacks, and I'd rather pay that $100 more for Voracek if you're going to use in cash games. Alexander Radulov, I mentioned him with Tyler Seguin earlier. He usually has a better floor. His shots have been very inconsistent lately. 5 his last game, which was good. Arizona usually suppresses shots and plays pretty good defense. So I only use him in a Dallas stack just to get a little bit different. Moving down a little bit, 6,300. Brock Besser for Vancouver. Again, only going to use him in stack. I'm not too high on Vancouver's offense going against Hart, as Hart's been playing phenomenal lately. But Besser has 13, 9, 17, 24 in his last 4 games. Besser goes on those hot streaks. He's got a point in his last 4 games, 5 of his last 6 games. Goal his last game. In the last 5, he's got 2 goals and 4 assists. So definitely like that play in a Vancouver stack. Just below him, James Van Riemsdyk, 6,100. 8 shots in his last 2 games. He's not as consistent as I would like, but if you're stacking up Philly, go ahead and use him in your Philly stacks. Probably one of my favorite wingers, just came back not too long ago after a few games off. Matt Zuccarello, 5,800. He picked up right where he left off, 5 shots and a goal in his last game on Saturday. Before that, 29 points, 22, 23, 28, 33, 13. He was playing amazing, and now he comes back against the Kings, who aren't playing very well. Pair him with Zib in your cash games, and that'll be the first place I go when I start making my lineups. Take a shot on Dustin Brown in tournaments. Not a cash play right now, but he can get an assist or a goal. Pair him up with Kopitar. Not too high on the Kings, as they don't score that much. Corey Perry, he's 5,000. Just came back for the Ducks. Had 4 shots in his first game back with 16 minutes against Winnipeg. The 16 minutes I'm happy with. He's going to be kind of a dart throw, but he's not going to be this cheap for the rest of the season. He's a good player. He has high upside when he's healthy. Matchup with Toronto is not horrible. They're allowing 33 shots against per game. Depends on what line he's on. If he is in fact on the top line with Raquel and Getzlaf, I do like him. He does have the upside. You can take a shot in tournaments. He's just coming back, so we don't really know exactly what to expect from him. Right under him, Travis Konecny. Probably said that word wrong too. But he's been very consistent for Vancouver. Goal last game. He had an assist the game before that. In his last 5 games, he's got 3 goals, 3 assists, 11 shots, 4 blocks. 17, 16, 1, 24, 24 in his last 5. So just that one dud. But he's been playing really well. Another value guy for you, Tyler Toffoli for the Kings. He's not going to do a whole lot. His ceiling isn't too high. He's not going to test his ceiling very often. But he's got a floor of about 8-ish points, which is what you want. Even for a lot of 4.8s in there with the 3 shots on goal. But in his last 5 games, his shots have been mainly around 3 or 4. And if he can sneak one through Lundqvist, he'll crush value at just 4,700. Like I said, if you're stacking up Vancouver, you can use Sven Barcheski, 4,600. Only use him in a stack. I'm not too high on him. Wayne Simmons for Philly, if you want to stack up their power play, 4,400. Not very consistent, doesn't have really much of a floor, but he does have upside. Again, he's just in your power. If you're going to stack up Philly's power plays, he does get top power play line exposure. Moving on down, it's not too much under the 4,500. That's really in consideration. Small slate, so anyone is really in play. If you guys do want to get in, go to dfsarmy.com. Use the promo code NHL Podcast at checkout. Save yourself 20%. Get in, talk to us in our Slack chat, message us, me, Flynn, Anthony, Chop, Shady. We're all around. All of our members are helping out people. Get you guys better at NHL and any other sport you want to play. With bigger slates, Flynn and I will be back with the dual pods later in the week. As me just starting my internship, trying to get settled and everything. So I decided I'll just do a solo pod on the Super Bowl Sunday for everyone to have something out nice and early for you. But yeah, like I said, not too much more. This is the night before, so once I get able to dig into our research station tomorrow, I might be able to drop some quick notes for our Slack members. Go right on to defense. Like I said, guys, it's going to be a short podcast today. Right at the top, 5,900, John Klingberg. If I'm going to use a Dallas stack in tournaments, it's going to be Sagan, Radlov, and Klingberg. Klingberg has upside to score and assist, blocks some shots, takes a few shots. He gets plenty of ice time. Like I said, matchup with Arizona, it's not the best, but he likely won't kill you. He's the top price defenseman tonight, and he's still under 6,000. Drew Doughty for the Kings has actually been really consistent lately. He gets tons of ice time. He averages 26 minutes on ice per game, and since Jeff Muzzin left, got traded, he's been playing a ton of minutes, 27, 28, 26 in his last 3 games. If you're going to go up that high, just use Klingberg, but Doughty will be super low owned and does have a chance to get an assist and get a few blocks. One of my favorite defensemen, 5,800, Morgan Riley, starting to heat up again. Toronto is going to be the chalk. They're in a great matchup against Anaheim, allowing almost 4 goals. John Gibson has been horrible lately, just bleeding goals to the opponents. Riley's had 4 shots his last game, 3 the game before that, playing a ton of minutes. Stack him up with Matthews, Tavares, anyone you want to use with him. He'll probably be one of my defensemen today. Keep an eye out for Oliver Ekman-Larsson for Arizona. Not sure I'm fully going to be on him, but he might come back. Or he came back last game, actually, against San Jose. Played 26 minutes, but he didn't do anything. He's only 4,900. He does have 4 to 5 shot upside and can score a goal, but don't really like the matchup all that much. Jake Muzzin, still settling in with his new team in Toronto, but he's playing between 18 and 22 minutes a game. More of a defensive defenseman. He's not very offensive minded. Doesn't shoot a ton. But he's cheap. Gets you a few points here and there. If you're going there, you can just go to Kevin Shattenkirk. For the Rangers, 4,400. He has 6 shots a couple of games ago against Philly. He could score a goal, block a bunch of shots. 4,400, you're only really looking for 10 to 12 points for him, and he can do that for you. Brandon Montour, 4,400, another guy you could take a stab at. Alexander Edler, I've always been on him being 42, 4,300, but he just hasn't been doing it lately. 6 points his last game, 12, 11, 15. We do know the upside he has, but he's just not showing it right now. Against Philly, good matchup. Decent matchup, I should say. The Philly's still allowing a ton of shots, just not allowing a ton of goals. 4,300. You know you have a floor of about 10 points with him. But I know he can test his 20-point ceiling. I saw Lindell, 4,000 for Dallas. He's been really picking it up lately, picking up a few more assists. In his last 5 games, he's got 5 assists, 1 goal, blocking a bunch of shots, shooting a couple here and there. He'll be your lower-owned Dallas defenseman in larger field tournaments if you want to stack him up. Travis Sanheim for Philly, another 4,000 guy. I prefer him over Lindell. His last 2 games, he's got 8 shots, 7 blocks, goal, 2 assists, 20 and 32 fantasy points in tough matchups. If you want a lower-owned defenseman for Philly, because he doesn't play on that top line, he's sneaky good. I feel like he's got a floor of about 6 to 8 points. He hovers around the 10 to 12 mark quite a bit. If you want to take a shot at Cam Fowler, 3,800. Got an assist last game, finally, from coming back. But he's got about an 8-point floor, 3,800. Once he starts rolling, he's not going to stay that cheap. He's going to start shooting up. Yeah, guys, right now, not too much else interests me. This is going to be a funky slate. If you want to stack up some 3rd and 4th lines, second power plays, get a little funky with it. My top stacks right now, and like I said, it's 10 o'clock on Sunday, so a lot of things are going to change by tomorrow morning. Rangers 1, Kreider, Zuccarello, and Zibanejad are top stack. I really like Philly 1. You can use Philly 2 in there. Toronto, any of their lines are going to be chalky. They're in a great spot. Stack them up however you want. First line, second line, power play line. Get in who you can fit in. The Arizona-Dallas game is probably going to be really low scoring. Ben Bishop is going to be very chalky. If you want to stack up Arizona to be contrarian, I don't hate it. You can take a risk on it, and on short 4-game slates that doesn't really look the greatest for cash at first look. Get crazy in some of your tournaments. That's all from me today. You guys join up at the DFSArmy.com to get all of our late breaking news. Use the promo code NHL Podcast. Save yourself 20%. Good luck today, and I'll be around the Slack chat for about from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow. Good luck.
Thank you for listening to the DFS Army podcast. Join the DFS Army today and gain access to our private Slack chat, where you can chat with real DFS pros and coaches, as well as other DFS Army members with winning track records. Also included in your membership is access to our premium articles, DFS Army weighted projections for every sport we offer, from NFL to MMA, weekly player picks and cheat sheets, the strategy vault of timeless concepts, and the DFS Army Domination Station, a truly state-of-the-art lineup optimizer, offering your personal projections or ours. The DFS Army membership is the best value across the industry. Join today and get 2 free ebooks, as well as the secrets to unlocking a new level to your game.